I think I'm done for test knits for a while. Maybe this was a mistake. I'm gonna try to film this intro while I still have a load of makeup on. Hello all, and welcome back to my yarn corner. My name is Tina, and today we are doing yet another test knit that I signed up for super recently. So as you know, I just finished a test knit, and then another one just happened to come up on my feed, and I just couldn't resist signing up for this one as well. So here we are. Today we are going to be test knitting the Kitsch Cardigan by Sedna Yang. I've never knit any of this designer's work, but I am a really big fan of her. I just found her recently, I think this year, and she has a lot of really Korean inspired designs. Anyways, the next one that she has right now is the Kitsch Cardigan. I love stranded knitting, I love cardigans, so here we are. I will say though that the testing period for this is extremely short. So I am a little bit stressed and fiercely knitting at the moment. I basically cast this on immediately once I got the pattern, and the pattern is luckily top down, which is my favorite. There is steeking involved, but after steeking the Twisted Love vest, I feel like I could steek anything at this point, now that I have literally 2 projects under my belt. I already had some sport weight DK yarn in my stash that I had lying around for a very long time as well. I got this yarn, of course, on sale. It is the Mayak Tibetan Cloud. It's 100% wool, so this will be a lot better for me at steeking. So when I bought this yarn, I bought 2 colors because I was planning to make this other sweater called... I ended up making it in a different color for my mom. Yeah, it sat in my stash for a really long time, and I was thinking that it would be the perfect color combination for this cardigan, but once I swatched it, the yellow was not popping out very well. Like, the contrast was very low, and I wanted it to be brighter so that all of the floral motifs would show up. I was really disappointed that I couldn't use the 2 Maya colors that I had. I also really didn't want to go out and buy more yarn. I just feel like I can try to make something work with what I already have. I'm really not trying to break my low buy, no buy already. Anyways, I have this other yarn that I bought when I went to the New York Fiber Festival, the really big one, Rhinebeck. It's from Tess Designer Yarns. It's like 100% superwash merino, and that's pretty much all I know about it. I have like a bunch of this yarn, so I figured I would try to swatch this. I still feel like the variegated yarn was maybe not the best choice, but it's pretty much all I have in my stash right now that would work. I also thought about using Fiber Co's Cumbria because I have this in a really great like dark teal and then a pale gray, and the contrast of that would look so good. But this is considered a worsted weight, and I really don't want to wrestle with like using a smaller needle and also like taking this up and then swatching it and then finding out that this fabric is too dense. So I just figured to make it easier, and I know that this would be the perfect yarn weight, that I would just use the Mayak yarn. But here's what the swatch looks like. I feel like the contrast is not that great, but if I put it on like my body, it's not that bad actually. I didn't knit that big of a swatch because I'm too lazy. This hit gauge perfectly with the needle that she used, so I'm super happy about that. The drape, I would say, it's a bit thin. Personally, I think I would go a little bit more dense just for warmth, but this is a really great like drape for good for tops. I don't know. It's the perfect gauge, and I'm not gonna wrestle with that. I just want to have an easy breezy time because I only have 4 weeks to finish this entire cardigan. And so I'm trying to knit it as fast as I can so that I could get the steeking out of the way as quickly as I can. Usually I will unravel my swatch, but actually this one is so beautiful. I think I'm gonna keep it and I'm gonna put it up on my board. I cast it on immediately. The instructions were a little bit strange. The wording works and makes sense, but is a little bit confusing. I also didn't realize that there would be like a million yarn ends just for the shoulders. In typical top-down construction, you start at the back and then you pick up the 2 shoulders, which is my absolute favorite way to construct sweaters. But the way that this one is constructed, I ended up having like so many yarn ends. I had to knit so many small pieces separately, and every time I cut my yarn, I like died a little inside because holy crap, this is a lot of yarn ends for such a small section that I will have to weave in later. But alas, we must continue. I am just now beginning to, get to the steeking part and the in the round part. And hopefully after this project, and I will stop test knitting and work on my 6 whips that I have still going on. Hello. Oh my gosh. Please excuse my voice. It is currently Sunday morning. We're about a week out from the test knit, and I have not gotten enough progress done, to be honest. I was really hoping to get the body done, or more of the body, but here's what it looks like right now. Here, these steeks are for the armholes, although I just finished that, so now I'm working on the rest of the body. I didn't realize that they were going to be pockets. Honestly, I didn't look very close. The way that the pockets are knit, I've never done before, even though I've seen like other people do it. So this will be very interesting, to say the least. So this test knit is mainly on Ravelry forum, which I've never done before. And I like rarely use Ravelry anyways, besides like looking for patterns and buying patterns. So this is definitely my first time. It's giving Reddit, but not as user-friendly. The developers of Ravelry are sort of doing this for free and like for volunteering, so I can't really complain. I just wish that the testnet was conducted on like Google. Anyways, I didn't get a lot done the past few days because I was away on business and I was too exhausted after work to do anything. I think it's looking pretty good. I will say that because the yarn is like a little bit different from each other, like the pink yarn is sort of like a stiff yarn, and then the white yarn is more like bouncy because of the way that they were spun. I'm hoping I can get through the entire body without having to cake up another hank, because I'm honestly too lazy right now. Eventually I'll have to do it. But a side note, this testnet, I don't know if I said it in like my intro video or whatever, but the testnet is going on for 4 weeks. And 4 weeks for like an extra small and a small I think is like completely fair. 4 weeks for literally any other size is a little bit tough. I think she gave like 2 more weeks for like the bigger sizes, like the XL or something, but I still feel like that's not enough. I mean, I knew what I was signing up for. It's really nobody's fault but my own. I just kind of, I don't know why I did this to myself, because now I'm stressing out. You will find out at the end of this video whether I actually finished an entire cardigan steeked with pockets in 4 weeks. That's all I have to say. That's all my update today. I'm gonna work on this the rest of the weekend. I'll check back in with you when I can. Hello, me again. We are currently snowed in here where I live. We got maybe about like 2 feet of snow. So my mom and I had to like go shovel in parts in like shifts, I guess. Even though we're snowed in, I have been busy doing that. So I haven't gotten too much done with my Kitsch cardigan. And then also, like, I spent the whole day editing, so now that I'm back inside and I have a chance to continue knitting, I'm starting to feel like maybe this was a mistake. I've gone about this much, so not too different from the last update. I'm at, I think, like row 76, and I need to get to row 94 before I can, like, even begin to do the bottom hem ribbing. So it's a little bit of a sludge right now because the entire thing is charted, and so I really have to focus on the chart, and I unfortunately can't just, you know, put a YouTube video on and like stockinette for 5 hours. So I feel like I'm expending so much time and energy into like focusing on these charts that I'm getting a little bit exhausted. This is pretty much the first test knit where I feel like I might not be able to finish, which I'm a little bit worried about, but I'm trying not to think about it, and I'm just, you know, trying to do my best. We only have 4 weeks, and I'm already like a week into it. I was scrolling on Ravelry the other day, and I noticed that some people were like beyond the body, and then others had like just finished the top yoke. So I'm knitting a size medium, and I feel like I need like 6 weeks. And I don't even want to know how stressed the bigger size knitters are right now. I mean, we all kind of knew how much time we were going to get for this test knit, but I think when we actually start doing it, like, reality is totally different. This is completely voluntary, and like nobody held a gun to my head. I mean, I knew when I signed up for the test knit that the time period was going to be very short, but I was completely delusional and I thought that I could do it. And then I got set back a little bit by 3 days because I was on a business trip. If I'm having to allocate literally every minute of my leisure time to this project, I think it's becoming too stressful, and yeah. Nonetheless, I'm gonna push through it, I'm gonna do my best, and then we'll see how it goes. My goal is to finish the entire body by the end of this week, and then I'll try to focus on the sleeves in the 3rd week, and then finishing in the 4th week. That's sort of my schedule that I have to compartmentalize and like turn into benchmark goals, or else I will go insane and start getting overwhelmed. There is truly no rest for the week. We have to keep going. I'm wasting time here just sitting here and complaining. Currently ill, but I just wanted to show you. I finally finished the body. And so now I have to go back and start knitting the pockets. So come with me to do that. The body was such a trudge and I'm so excited that we've gotten to this point. And I am fired up again for this project. So let's start doing that now. I have been running around all day today, going back and forth, up and down the stairs, trying to make like salt bread. And then like in between the proofs and the rising, I was like running back up here to like finish my knitting project. This is my first time making it and I think it's going well right now, but we'll see within the final bake how it goes. Back to my project. I'm not sure if you could see, but I have both pockets on the same needle because I was quite frankly running out of needles, so I put both of the pockets on the same needle. This project takes sort of a little bit of coordination because you're doing a couple things at once and you're like leaving parts for later. I figured it out. So now I'm just finishing up the ribbing at the bottom, and then I'm gonna have to cut the center steek, and then I'm gonna start doing the button band and the hem. That's gonna be exciting, I guess. Oh, also I cast off like the wrong number of stitches for the steek, so I think I cast off 6 when I was supposed to cast off 5. So my cast off has like shifted my button band over like 1 stitch. It got really confusing for me when I got to the end of the ribbing and I was like, I don't have enough stitches. But then I figured out what happened, so I just like increased one on one of the sides. I think that should straighten itself out when I end up doing like the hem and stuff. While my salt bread is proofing on its last 1 hour proof, I'm gonna try and finish the entire ribbing and then try to crochet steek it. The designer gives you like a tiny tutorial on how to do the crochet version. We'll see. I'll cross that road when I finish the hem. My hands are so dry because I keep like running up and down the stairs. Every time I'm like coming back to my salt bread after knitting, I have to like wash my hands. And so they are cracky right now. Since we're finally on the last proof, I don't think I have to handle the dough or anything anymore. So finally I can put hand cream on. I'm trying to power through this ribbing so that I can start steeking the center, and hopefully I can get the body done this week so that I can start working on the sleeves. I'm watching like a new YouTuber's video, well like new to me, and I'm having a good time. So yeah, I will check back in either on the salt bread or the sweater when I can. Okay, so my bread is finally in the oven after like 5 frickin' hours. I just like posted a little comment into the test knitting Ravelry forum. Since the instructions say like explicitly to use the sewn like 1x1 Italian rib. So since the instructions explicitly say to use like an Italian sewn bind off, rather than it saying like use this bind off or your bind off of choice, like that open-ended or your bind off of choice would prompt me to just do whatever bind off I wanted to, but because it explicitly says to use the sewn bind off, I figured I would ask the designer whether she has a strong preference on that, because I for one do not have the patience right now to be doing a 1x1 sewn bind off on so many stitches. So just post it in there, and I'm gonna check on my bread and then we will see what she replies to. But she's in like a different time zone, so maybe she'll get to this like tomorrow morning or something. Don't mind the eye bags. I tried the crochet steek a few days ago, but I could already tell that the ends were fraying, and I really was not confident that those ends were gonna be secure with just the crochet steek. I feel like it could be a lot of things. Maybe one, that my crochet steek was not very tight, so the stitches were not very like tightly warped together. And then the second reason could be that the contrast color that I used for this sweater is superwash, and so it's definitely not going to felt and be as sticky as like a regular wool. To be honest, I really thought that having one of the two yarns that I used being like woolly would be enough, but it was not enough. It was fraying super crazy, so I pulled out my sewing machine and I sewed like 2 straight stitches on either side of the steek along the crochet steek that I already did, and I think it's a little bit more secure. I feel a lot more confident and like reassured now that I have like sewed over the steeks, because the fraying was starting to get to me, especially when I was like tossing the sweater around while I was knitting the button band and the front hem. Here's how it's looking right now. I finished the entire front hem. I sewed in as many ends as I could, and I also sewed the pockets a little bit. I wish I had the foresight to like leave longer ends so that I could have like some extra yarn to sew the pockets and stuff, but I didn't. So this is my first time doing an afterthought pocket, and it definitely won't be my last because I really like this method. It's pretty seamless. While I already had my machine out, I also sewed the armhole steeks, so I'm ready to cut it today and then hopefully pick up the stitches for the sleeves today. I love the pattern. I really want to make this again, possibly with different yarn and not under the constraints of like gauge. I definitely want to try and use the other yarn combination that I had thought about in the beginning of the project. If that yarn had been like 2 gauge, then I definitely would have used that. Such is the nature of test knitting. You can't always modify and do whatever you want. So like I said in my last clip, I did ask the designer whether I could change the bind off, and she said it was totally okay that I don't do the sewn bind off, which thank God, because this is a lot of stitches. I just did like a regular standard bind off. Originally I was binding off on the wrong side of the hem, and so like the purl bumps were facing outwards, and I got like halfway through the hem before I realized I actually really don't like this. I was trying to like convince myself it doesn't look that bad. More than halfway into the bind off, it was bothering me a lot. I had bound off the bottom hem on the right side. I also bound off the button bands on the right side. So I just decided, like, for cohesiveness, that I would bind them off all on the right side. I just think it looks a lot neater. Glad I went back and did that before I regret it later. That's it for the update today, and I will check back in with you when I've made a little bit more progress. It is currently Tuesday, the week that it's due, I am like just now finishing up the first sleeve, and I am praying that I can finish this on Friday and then hopefully block it the same day. I did realize that it is super freaking long. I think it's just because I'm short. I really could ask the designer whether I could shorten it a few rows, but I'm scared. Of course, I would really love to like shorten the sleeves, then I wouldn't have to like knit so much on the other sleeve. I'm like so nervous to ask her, so I'm just gonna do it exactly to pattern. Okay, so I just finished the first sleeve. Feeling really good about that, and I am now immediately gonna start picking up for the second sleeve. I purposefully left the steek uncut because knitting the sleeves, I felt like I was like wrestling with the cardigan really often. I'm honestly not that confident about my sewing skills, and it honestly seems like the stitches aren't that secure, even though I did like multiple straight stitches with my sewing machine. But yeah, I'm really happy about that. I'm glad that I can finally cast on, and that's pretty much what I'm gonna be doing this whole night. Hello and welcome to my bedroom floor. We have entered the wee hours of the night. Just kidding, it's literally only like 8:30. It's feeling really late because my back is on fire because I keep like looking down onto my laptop to like look between the pattern and like what I'm watching. We're only about like 2 or 3 hours in, and like my neck is already on fire. To all of you watching this video and knitting or crocheting while you're doing it, make sure to adjust your posture into something a little bit more ergonomic. I think I'm gonna try for like another hour and then I'm gonna give up. I'll check back in when I can. Yeah, my neck is going absolutely crazy right now. I don't know when I subscribe to aging, but I would like to unsubscribe as soon as possible. All I want to do is be horizontal, lay down, quite frankly. But I don't really have that option right now. It's gonna be a long night. Basically, my entire free time is monopolized by this project. And so when I tried to set myself free for a few days, now I am somewhat regretting it. I've been like snooping here and there just to see like where everyone else is at. Someone else said that they had just only now finished the sleeve like a day before me, but then there are also other people who have already finished, and then there are other people that have like barely finished the body. It's hard to really compare because we're not all making the same size. I guess I only have a sleeve left and it like really could be worse. I think there's one knitter who was knitting a bigger size and she had already finished, and I cannot believe the speed in which she managed to do all of this. Unfortunately, that is not I. I don't really want to know what's gonna happen if I don't finish this, so the only option is to finish. That's pretty much it for tonight. I will check back in the morning with my progress. It's done! Finally finished this cardigan. The sleeves are for sure very long, and I am afraid they're gonna get longer during blocking, but that's okay. I'm gonna block it tomorrow and then weave in all the ends tomorrow, and then we'll be done. Super proud of myself, and I will check back in with you tomorrow, and then we'll be done with this project. It is just about to be 9 in the morning, and I just finished filming like all the obligatory pre-blocking clips so that like everyone can see the before and after blocking. Now we actually have to start blocking, okay? We actually don't have time. So let's go and do that now. already tell that it's going to be too big. My swatch was on point. It was 23 stitches and I blocked my swatch as well. So I feel like probably just the weight of the cardigan itself when I was wet blocking it is like stretching out all the stitches. So I tried to like dump it in the dryer for like 10 minutes at a time. I could tell that it was like starting to fuzz up, the Mayak Tibetan cloud, and so I didn't really want to make it worse. I will have to put that in the feedback that I didn't hit gauge in my final blocking. That's okay. I mean, I'll probably just give it to my mom. So, yep. It is what it is. It's been a few weeks since I finished this project, and of course I still don't have any buttons for it. I was trying to finish editing the video today, and that's when I realized that my outro clip and like my roundup thoughts, my mic was muted the entire time. Either it was muted or it ran out of battery. I have no idea. So here we are. I am refilming the outro. This test knit I had basically finished the day that it was due, and then I was like frantically blow drying it so that it would be dry enough for me to take product photos and post them onto Ravelry and like send them to the designer and everything. So I was really down to the crunch, like the last few hours. I finished sewing everything in, dried as fast as I could, took all the pictures, and then that was it. And as I expected, the sleeves are definitely long. They reach beyond my arms a little bit. That's fine. It's a little bit cozier because it's longer, I guess. Some things I want to say about the pattern. I am not the biggest fan of the shoulder construction, but I could understand why she did that because I think she just wanted to shape the top a little bit. But otherwise, the rest of the cardigan was pretty self-explanatory. It's very similar to things that I've done in the past. This is definitely like an intermediate to advanced maybe pattern. Regarding the yarn choice, I really like this Mayak yarn. The cardigan turned out really, really drapey and still very warm. I'm glad that I also did a superwash for the color contrast. I think that would help prevent a little bit of pilling. I had a really rough time trying to do this all in 4 weeks, and I honestly cannot believe I managed to pull it off. This is probably the fastest I've ever been able to finish an entire sweater garment. Normally it probably would take me like 2 months, but the challenge of having to do this in such a tight time frame made me realize that I guess I could do it if I really wanted to. I'm glad that the test knit is over. I just kind of want to have my free will back, quite frankly. I didn't even realize we were getting compensated for this test knit. The designer offered to give us the final pattern, of course, and also patterns from her portfolio, or if we want, we can pick other patterns from other designers. So that was really nice. But after test knitting, probably about like 10 times, I think was the last time I counted, I think I'm done for a very long time. This was an interesting experience for sure, stressing myself out, but the cardigan came out really great. I really like it. I will not be doing a test knit, I think, for the end of this year, because I have a lot of other projects lined up that I really, really want to do. I don't think the incentives of like getting a free pattern are enough for me anymore. I think my free will and my free time is a little bit more valuable to me now, and if anything, I can afford to buy a pattern. I really don't need to be going this hard, for lack of a better way to explain it. I worked super hard on this video, and I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all got a lot done while you were watching. It's definitely a long one. I tried to shorten it as much as I could and like be more concise. I also got a little bit better at editing, so I hope you guys enjoyed all the little things that I learned throughout this entire journey so far. And if you like me, if you like this video, if you want to join me in my tiny yarn corner, go ahead, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!